Where do you stand on the word moist?
Oh, that's a great question.
How do you feel about it?
Usually I stand on the middle of it because it feels like the safest ground.
Right on the dot?
Yeah, right on the tittle.
Yeah.
No, I think it is overrated in the sense of a word that
grossness.
Sounds bad. Yeah. Because, there are worse words out there.
Yeah, well, that was my follow-up question. Are there any other words that really give you the ick? Because I'm with you. I don't think moist is that bad.
I don't know, bile or...
Sure.
I don't know, I guess words that make me think of, organs, internal things.
Yeah.
No, you know what, Emily? I know exactly what word bothers me.
Here we go.
Whenever anybody talks about my little doohickeys and any of those actual words that you use, I cringe. I can't think about it.
What?
Like the word testicles or gonads. I can't
gotcha.
I get sensitive.
I've never in my life heard them referred to as doohickeys.
My little doohickeys.
Because that's just the thing. A doohickey is just a thing.
Yeah, but these are my little doohickeys.
Okay, end this right now.
Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. Every week on Butter No Parsnips, your hosts Emily Moyers and Kyle Imperatore take you on an adventure through the weird, wacky, wonderful, and sometimes even wicked world of one wayside word. Strange characters, delightful bits, and general joyousness abound. Join them as they test each other's etymological expertise.
Hey everybody, welcome to Butter No Parsnips. I'm Kyle Imperatore.
And I'm Emily Moyers. Oh, I just realized in our last episode I was supposed to introduce myself first. Anyway.
That's all right. Do you want to switch it now? Do you want to introduce me first and I'll introduce you second?
Hey everybody, welcome to Butter No Parsnips. This is Kyle Imperatore.
And this is Emily Moyers.
Beautiful.
And today, Emily's got a word for me. I was
do
trying
have
to
a
work
word
that
for
around,
you.
but I couldn't.
No, it was good. Perfect.
Yeah.
What
you got for me?
It's a pretty good word. Kyle, your word this week is butyraceous. Butyraceous. Butyraceous.
What the heck?
It's got a real great sound to it.
It does have a great sound to it. Butyraceous.
Butyraceous.
I feel like this is just something, an adjective Paula Deen has used for one of her meals. Gotta get my butyraceous lasagna out there.
Kyle, you're on the right track.
No, wait, really?
You might be able to get there.
Oh, that's insane. Oh, okay.
Everybody,
wow.
Hey, let's get the band queued up. I think Kyle's going to get there, folks.
I mean, immediately I thought the acious part makes me think of dinosaurs. It's an era in history.
Yeah.
But I guess that is not the case.
It's not an era in history. No, it's not the butyraceous period.
So, Emily, just why don't you tell me, is this an adjective?
It is an adjective.
It is an adjective.
You are correct.
And I guess the language of origin is Georgian, based on Paula Deen.
Oh, no, it formed in English, but from Latin roots.
I mean, does it have something to do with butter?
It does, Kyle.
Oh my God.
You
okay.
are right there.
Oh God!
I mean, honestly, you have it already. But
can I ask for my one-word hint to
sure,
get me over the line?
The one-word hint is consistency.
Oh, so I mean, does butyraceous just mean buttery?
Yes, you got it.
Oh my God, that's insane.
That is exactly it.
I cannot believe. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you had it from minute one.
I just a complete guess.
Wow. But I mean, it's kind of there because butyr is not far from butter and it's just butyraceous. That's it.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it would have been some sort of alcohol, butyl or butyl.
Sure. Butylaceous means
butylaceous.
Ready to explode at any minute.
I've been butylated.
Yeah, so butyraceous, I mean, we'll talk about the etymology, but it is essentially just butter and acious.
Wild.
So it formed in the mid-1600s. The root of the word, the butyr part, comes from the Latin word butyrum, B-U-T-Y-R-U-M, which meant butter. And that was actually borrowed from an ancient Greek word, butyron, and that word also meant butter, and it was a combination of the ancient Greek words bous, meaning ox or cow, and tyros, meaning cheese.
Oh, what? They had their own word for cheese, but they had to combine words to make butter?
To make butter, I guess cheese came first.
I'm sorry. And they're calling butter ox cheese?
Ox cheese.
I think something went wrong in ancient Greece, Emily.
I mean,
there was some kind of farm accident.
Based on the sorts of things we've uncovered in this podcast, a lot of things went wrong in ancient Greece.
You're right.
In any case, an English writer, who we'll talk about in a sec, took that Latin word butyrum and appended the Latin suffix acious, A-C-E-O-U-S. In Latin, it's just A-C-E-U-S with no O. And it is used to adjectivize words. It basically means of the nature of or having the qualities of.
That's a really good suffix. I feel like it should be used more often for adjectives.
Well, I mean, you've mentioned one already, but can you think of any acious words, Kyle?
I mean, all I can think of is Cretaceous.
Yes.
Spacious is not the same.
No. Crustaceous is the same.
Crustaceous?
Yep.
Emily, I've never heard of that. Is that just like a crab?
Yeah. The suffix is primarily used in the fields of biology and botany and zoology and medicine.
Sure. And medicine.
Yeah. And it is, in fact, in medicine that the word butyraceous was formed.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared, Kyle. We're just going to talk about blood right now.
Oh, no. That's my other least favorite word.
Oh, yeah, it's true. People who faint at the sound of blood turn off now.
Blood? Because the rest of this episode is just going to be us making squelching noises.
But yes, the word butyraceous formed in a medical treatise, which was originally published in Latin, because the 1600s was that era where British academic types were just really into Latin.
Yeah. They were like, no one can read this. Good.
Yeah, really superior about it. The treatise was called De Ortu et Natura Sanguinis, which meant On the Origin and Nature of Blood, by one Dr. John Bett. B-E-T-T. Kyle, do you know what blood is made up of?
Do I know what blood is made of? I assume blood is made up of...
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to get a real answer.
Carbonated strawberry sauce.
Yeah, you got it, Kyle.
No, it's got plasma, and then it's got, hemoglobin and... whatever white blood cells are. Hypoglobin. Hippoglobin.
I mean, you could just say red blood cells and white blood cells, but...
I mean, I don't see color, Emily.
Kyle, get out of here. But yeah, you got it. It is a little more than half plasma, and then a little bit of white blood cells and platelets, and then a little less than half red blood cells. So Dr. John Bett was... one of the doctors who was kind of figuring that out, basically.
Oh, okay.
And he was building on the works of another doctor, William Harvey, who we'll talk about a little bit later in the episode. Mm-hmm. But the way that Dr. Bett decided to explain how blood worked was to compare it to milk.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically, he says... I'm going to paraphrase here because there wasn't really a concise quote to sum it up. Uh-huh. But he says that, milk is made up of 3 parts. Butyrum, butter, serum, which means whey, the liquid part of milk, and caseum, which means curds or cheese, the solid part that you strain out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's the same with blood.
Oh, God. Oh,
There's the buttery part, the liquidy part, and the curdy part.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Worst, I don't know, adult to child doctor's dictionary ever.
Yeah, he's just trying to make it make sense in simple terms. What can everybody understand? Milk.
Milk.
It's 1630 something. What's the simplest terms I can put this in?
I'm sorry, ma'am. You're trying to tell me about the French and Indian War right now, but can you tell me in terms of milk?
Yeah. In any case, soon after that Latin text was published, because remember, all of that was written in Latin.
You're right.
It was sort of translated / summarized in English in a scientific journal called Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. Have you ever heard of this journal, Kyle?
I mean, I feel like it's got enough buzzwords in it that I've probably heard of a lot of things that sound like it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure
Kyle, you're skirting around this. Do you owe them dues?
Listen, I stopped paying a couple years back and they've been calling me ever since.
So the reason I thought you might have heard of it is Philosophical Transactions started publishing in 1665, making it the first exclusively scientific journal ever. Wow. And was still publishing in 2010, making it the longest running scientific journal ever.
That's amazing.
It is.
I assume still in Latin in 2010.
No, they were in English. The Latin text was summarized in English in this journal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Why did they close?
Well, I assume because you owed them so much money, they couldn't stay afloat. No, I don't actually know why they stopped publishing. I was trying to find that on their website, but
I guess their website a GeoCities website? 2010, I guess it would have been just a Wix. I don't know.
But in any case, this particular quote that I have is from Volume 3, published in 1669. I couldn't find an author. The journal didn't cite any writers. It was just this is the Royal Society
just text
at large.
We as a society deem this fact.
Yes. But they said at the front of this article, they said they were summarizing Dr. Bett's writing.
Gotcha.
And they say, quote, "The author endeavors to show that milk, italicized, or something analogous to it, is the universal nourishment of all living creatures, and the immediate and whole matter of blood, italicized. Whence and from the 3 parts whereof, vis-a-vis the Butyraceous, serous, and caseous, and their various concoction in the stomach and constitution in the veins, he would deduce the different nature of the humours and spirits composing the blood. As from the different quantity and quality of these, he would derive the whole business of health and sickness and the method of cure."
Just so many bad things there, Just the idea that the whole matter of blood is something that we've got to get around to fixing is...
I mean, it's 1669. They got to work all this stuff out.
How do we replace all this blood with milk? The life nourishment.
Something everyone can understand. But yes, they translated the Latin butyrum, serum, and caseum into the Butyraceous, serous, and caseous, and that is where we get the word Butyraceous. So Kyle, as I mentioned earlier, John Bett was building on the works of a doctor named William Harvey, who also spent a lot of time studying the nature of blood and the circulation system. I think a lot of what we understand about the circulation system came from William Harvey.
Wow. I mean, that's great.
John Bett's treatise, the one where he's talking about the milk and stuff, contained a report on an autopsy that William Harvey had performed in 1635. Mm-hmm. And the article in Philosophical Transactions also spent a lot of time talking about that autopsy as well. It was an autopsy of a man named Thomas Parr, also known as Old Tom Parr.
Old Tom Parr, huh?
Old Tom Parr was called that because he was reputed to have died at the age of 152.
No! 152?
Yeah.
What are you doing cutting this guy open? Leave him be.
No, he died.
I don't care. We should be, I don't know, shellacking him and traipsing him around town. Don't cut him open.
Well, they did traipse him around town.
Oh, no. Did they cut him open and instead of blood, it was powdered milk?
No, although I think he did describe his lungs as being a milky white color.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so Thomas Parr, born in the rural county of Shropshire, allegedly in the year 1483. And just a reminder, he died in 1635.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Definitely, allegedly born in the year 1483.
Yeah.
Just a couple quick facts about him. He got married at around 80 years old, had a son and daughter, both of whom died in infancy. But then he
had
also
a son and daughter at 80?
Oh, after 80, he got married at 80.
God.
Supposedly. And then he also had an illegitimate child at the age of 100.
I just feel like any child after 80 is immediately illegitimate.
Seth said the same thing. I said he impregnated a woman at 100, and Seth said, I think that shouldn't be allowed.
It should be. I don't even care if that woman was 100. It should be illegal for a man to impregnate a woman when he's 100.
Yeah, according to Dr. Harvey's autopsy, Tom Parr lived on a diet of, quote, sub-rancid cheese and milk in every form, coarse and hard bread, and small drink, generally sour whey. On this sorry fare, but living in his home, free from care, did this poor man attain to such a length of days.
He's like that old woman who outlived 3 of her doctors by drinking 4 Dr. Peppers a day.
He's like that guy that doctors hate him.
Yeah. Doctors hate me, and it's mostly because my body's cheese.
Sub-rancid cheese.
You said sub-rancid?
Sub-rancid cheese.
What does sub-rancid mean? Like almost rancid?
Or like less than, like it is at a level lower than rancid?
Yeah. On the rancidity scale, it only ranks a 7. You need to be an 8.5. Oh,
yeah,
God,
but I guess the theory was that, like, he lived in the countryside and didn't have any, like, major responsibilities, so he just lived and lived.
I mean, good for him. I mean, somebody must have taken care of him, especially for that era. I mean, he lived, that's 8 lifetimes.
Yeah, so he became sort of a local legend, and in 1635, he was discovered by an earl who was, passing through town. And the earl said, sir, what do you do for a living?
Get older.
Yeah, so the earl was just really intrigued, and he brought Tom Parr back to London with him and presented him to the king. And was King, look at this old, very old man.
Wow. This is like what we do on social media when we just find a stranger that we're like, look at this weird guy, and just give them an Instagram account.
Well, and then he became an attraction in London for a hot second. But then,
funny.
He was living more lavishly in London. He was eating good food and drinking wine, and there was more pollution in London. And literally, he died within weeks of going there.
Oh my God! So funny.
Yeah.
Well, you can take a man out of sub-rancid milk, but you can't take the sub-rancid milk out of the man. Wow. I mean, that's kind of I would say some sort of international treaty they're breaking there. Some kind of war crime.
That they allowed this man to die.
Yeah.
So, just to kind of sum up there, obviously that man did not actually live 152 years, just in case anyone's in doubt.
Are you kidding me? That guy did a whole autopsy and everything, Emily. He counted the rings in his bones, I'm sure.
Well, I just have one more real quick quote from that autopsy.
Please, I mean.
So he's report. This is just on the first page of the autopsy. He's just initial thoughts, quote, the body was muscular, the chest hairy, and the hair on the forearms still black. The legs, however, were without hair and smooth. Next paragraph. The organs of generation were healthy, the penis neither retracted nor extenuated, nor the scrotum filled with any serous infiltration, as happens so commonly among the decrepit.
Emily, remember that conversation we had at the beginning of the episode?
About gross words?
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling again.
Truly?
Makes me
Just
uncomfy.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure.
Good for him.
We're not entirely sure why the world believed that he lived that long. It's been posited that his birth year was confused with his grandfather's birth year.
Wow.
So that's a possibility.
What a crazy confusion to make.
Also, though, so when we were recording your episode, Cavill, you mentioned Catherine Parr.
I did. Are they related?
So they're not. But Catherine Parr's father was named Thomas Parr, and he was born in 1483. So I'm wondering if that was also a source of confusion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you sure they weren't the same person?
No, because her dad was Sir Thomas Parr. He was like somebody who was known, and he died in the 1500s. He didn't live to 152. Yeah, in any case, we're not entirely sure how old Thomas Parr actually was. He was probably older than average when he died, but that really just means he was older than 70.
26.
Yeah. It doesn't mean much. In the interest of wrapping up Butyraceous, Kyle.
Yes.
Most of the usages I could find were as part of the trio Butyraceous, Cirrus, and Caseus, almost always talking about either blood or milk.
Awful, frankly.
The OED did list one figurative usage of Butyraceous.
How?
By the American poet James Russell Lowell in his 1870 book, My Study Windows. He uses the idiom, someone knows on which side his bread is buttered, and then refers to that idiom as, quote, the Butyraceous principle.
I love that.
Truly, so good. So by that definition, this is a Butyraceous podcast, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful.
Butyraceous can also be used to mean producing butter. The OED has a couple of quotes from British explorer Richard Francis Burton of him saying things like butyraceous nuts or trees or things like that.
Oh, like peanut butter.
Sure.
Like peanuts are butyraceous in that you can make
butter out of them. Yeah. Sure. But Kyle, aside from peanut butter, I want to know what you think is butyraceous. Can you use this word in a sentence?
I'm positive that I can.
I'm positive that you can too.
Just because I've got such a lengthy history with butter.
Which is why Kyle will definitely not live to 152.
Absolutely not. I'm looking for my blood to be separated butter, whey, and curds.
Yeah.
Okay, Butyraceous. Emily, someday I plan on going to Paris, France, and purchasing myself one of their famously Butyraceous croissants.
Oh, beautiful, Kyle. Butyraceous Kyle.
Butyraceous Kyle is the worst version of gross Kyle.
Gross Kyle.
Yeah, but your
just
final
all oiled up.
Yeah, your final form is Butyraceous.
Butyraceous Kyle.
Oh,
like an oiled up dinosaur.
From the Butyraceous period.
Period, yeah.
All right, Kyle.
Lovely, Emily. I mean, I never wanted butter and blood to be on the same level medically.
Inexorably linked.
Yeah, but here we are, and I've accepted it.
All right. Well, Kyle, now that you've accepted that, do you want to play a little game?
I would love to.
Kyle, your game today is called Who Wants to Live Forever?
Oh, me.
Okay.
Do I
Kyle, win? Yeah, you win. So Kyle, Thomas Parr reputedly said that the key to long life was, quote, keep your head cool by temperance, keep your feet warm by exercise, Rise early, go soon to bed, and if you want to grow fat, keep your eyes open and your mouth shut.
So funny. Grow fat? What?
If fat meaning prosperous, I think.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, you can't grow fat keeping your mouth shut. That's how you get fat.
I think he's like, if you want to succeed in life.
I'm glad that he had his own almanac.
But Kyle, throughout history, people have sought many other supposed sources of long life or immortality.
Sure.
So the way this game is going to work, I'm going to give you a group of people, and you've got to tell me what mythical life giver they were searching for.
Okay, all right.
So Kyle, the Greek alchemists, particularly those of the Hermetic tradition, were searching for what?
Oh, like, is this a thing or like a...
It is. It is a thing that could have given them immortal life.
Oh, they were looking for the Philosopher's Stone.
Correct.
Ha ha.
Yeah. Do you get the bend of it?
Yes. I get the bend of it.
All right, that's good because you won't get this next one at all.
Perfect.
The ancient Chinese alchemists, particularly Taoists in the Han Dynasty, were looking for what? You won't know this one, Kyle.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. These are ancient Taoists. I'm gonna guess. Some sacred statue.
No, it was a pill of immortality.
Oh,
yeah, it was like an elixir, but in pill form.
So they wanted to be red-pilled, is what you're telling me.
Yes, they were searching for the red pill. All right, Kyle. Golden Age explorers in the Caribbean, including Ponce de Leon, were looking for what?
Oh, I know this one.
You gotta.
It's the star feature of
the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
The Fountain of Youth, Emily?
It is the Fountain of Youth. What were you going to say it was the star feature of?
I was going to say it was the star feature of, what's that?
So you didn't even know.
Novel. I was trying to think of it. It's, Tuck Everlasting. Fountain of Youth.
Tuck Everlasting. I was thinking of that too. Yeah. All right, Kyle, last one. The Knights Templar and possibly Nazi occultists were looking for what?
I assume they were the same people. They were looking
possibly
for
Indiana Jones.
Oh, I mean, is it like the Crystal Skull or something like that?
No, different Indiana Jones movie.
What was the first one they were looking for? What was the second one they were looking for? The Dead Sea Tupperware, right?
I'll give you another hint. This object came out of Arthurian legend. If that helps.
Oh, that could help. Was it the Sword and the Stone?
No, something that gave you immortality, Kyle.
Ah, right. Yes. Was it one of those frogs that you licked?
I really can't stand you.
Immortality in the Arthurian legend.
Monty Python was also looking for it, if that helps.
Oh, it's the Holy Grail.
It's the Holy Grail. Yep.
The Nazis?
Possibly. It's not a surefire thing.
I mean, I feel like we could just throw on, and then we're going to steal the Holy Grail. And everybody would be like, yeah, they suck.
Well, we got there in the end, Kyle.
We got there in the end. Well, Emily, to end this episode, I feel like we didn't touch on the obvious Butyraceous thing, which is our podcast, Butter No Parsnips.
Right. Where can they find those Butyraceous parsnips, Kyle?
Yeah, those of you at home, remember to find Butter No Parsnips on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram at Butter No Parsnips Podcast. And if you like today's episode, consider giving us a 5-star rating or review wherever you heard us.
And if you really like today's episode, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. Donating $5 or more earns you a shout out either on social media or right here on the podcast.
Thank you so much to all of you. You help us make what we make.
It's 5 stars, Kyle.
Which is Butyraceous and Napiform episodes.
That's right. And with that, I have been Emily Moyers.
And I've been Kyle Imperatore. And this has been Butter No Parsnips.
Thank you for listening to Butter No Parsnips. Butter No Parsnips is produced by Seth Gliksman, Emily Moyers, and Kyle Imperatore. The theme music and additional music is by Kyle Imperatore. If you liked listening to this episode, subscribe and give us a good rating and or positive review wherever you heard it. If you really liked listening, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. There you can get bonus content you can't get anywhere else, like the monthly Patreon exclusive podcast Buttered Parsnips. Your support means the world to us and encourages us to keep making more. Thanks in advance, and we'll be back next week.